Welcome everybody to another deck profile video. Yesterday I attended at my locals and I got first place with my Ice Barrier deck that we built together in the last live stream. And yeah, I wanted to show you the deck list for the people that are not familiar with the deck and wasn't at the live stream. So of course I make this deck profile in English because it's much more easier to understand for every subscriber and every watcher of this video when I do deck profiles in English. So then let's dig in. Let's first start with the monsters. There are triple mirror mage, searcher, token generator. This is this card does a lot in this deck. It cannot do anything on its own, but everything it does is very helpful. And even the search part is very important and helped me a lot of the time during the tournament. Then I play triple Georges. Georges is an extender and also a follow-up if you got hit by anything. His floodgate effect is also very good. Most of the ice barrier monsters have floodgate effects when you control another ice barrier, and his effect is just like Abyss Driller, so your opponent cannot activate any card effects in their graveyard, which is pretty important. I dueled against Yugioh, and he won me a game because his opponent cannot trigger any effects in the grave, and this was really important. Then I play a triple speaker. A speaker is normally a 2-off, but I play it at 3 for the most consistency because this is a pure build. I have not mixed it with another archetype, or it doesn't play Toad or anything like that, spoilers ahead. And except for one specific card, but I will explain that later. Speaker, if you could say this 3 are the strongest cards in the deck, because if you have these 3 together and you can get them in combo or in various ways in your hand, then you're pretty good to go. Then for another starter I have Revealer. Revealer special summons the Mirror Mage, the Georges, or the Exa. Exa I play at 2, and later on it can also banish itself to, yeah, you could say you can bypass the costs for a few ice barrier cards, but it doesn't come up often. Only thing you can actually do is if you have Revealer, and then on the following turn, if you have another Revealer or Searcher Revealer, you can banish the Revealer in your grave to pay the cost for the Revealer on the field. And the floodgate effect of this one actually is that your opponent cannot tribute cards. It's yeah, it will never came up, but yeah, only if you play against Flu, but nobody is really playing Flu nowadays because of the power creep. And this one has the effect that your opponent cannot change battle position of your monsters, which is very important for Lancea, because Lancea sets their monsters to face up defense position. And Exa lowers the attack points of opponent's monsters by 500, but the most important part is actually that Exa dumps the Mirror Mage from deck to the grave, makes himself a level 2, and then you can actually search a card thanks to the Mirror Mage effect. So Exa, you could say, is a sort of one card combo in this deck to go off. Then I played one General Wayne. General Wayne I was testing, and I find him very good. What he actually does say is that every spell and trap your opponent sends to the graveyard is banished instead, which is pretty good against Wunick or Whitewoods. And I played against both during the tournament. And yeah, your opponent has to negate that, so it's a really negate magnet, except, or yeah, he cannot play basically. And if he gets summoned, he searches you on Ice Barrier Spell Trap, which is very good. Then I play one general Yugioh of the Ice Barrier. These are my most into to-go targets for Lancea. Most of the people play the one mage that that's why both players must set spell on traps before activating them for one turn. So the anti-spell one, but I doesn't play him. The reason is it's very low on attack on the defense points, and you don't really have a way to protect your stuff. So your opponent can just go battle phase and then make their general turn. And Yugioh, I guess it's one of the better ones in my opinion, because every time your opponent resolve monster effects, he loses card advantage, or cannot go plus, because always he activates a monster effect on the field, he always must discard a card or the effect is negated. And against specific combo decks, it's really good. Then as a non-Ice Barrier card, but fits really well in this deck, I play triple Ice Jade when Aragine. Aragine is just, you could say, 2 cards level 10 synchro monster. So if you brick and you cannot do any stuff, then you can just discard another copy of Aragine or another water monster, like Dogwood for example, or something like that, and then you can summon her and level 3 token monster, and she's level 7, so you can instantly go synchro 10. And as only monster hand trap, I play triple Ash. I decided to play a lower count on hand traps. I only play 6 hand traps total in this deck, and a mix of board breakers and hand traps, and it functions really good, because if you see too many hand traps, then you maybe don't have follow-up or not too much to play around with. But the deck is really consistent actually, and that surprised me as well, how consistent this deck is. So next are the spells and traps. For the Ice Barrier spells, I play triple Medallion, the not once per turn Rota. I play triple Freezing Change. I know Freezing Change is normally one-off, but if you see this in your starting hand and your opponent has any sort of interruption, or you need an extender and don't want to search it with Mage, then yeah, it really fits well that this card is a 3-off in this deck. So I tested this at 3 and this was perfect. It was completely fine. And if you have a big enough board, the permanent effect of Freezing Chains also occurs, which is that your Ice Barrier monsters are protected from extra deck monster card effects, just like SP, Dragoon, and so on. So all that stuff that floats around, Mirror Jade and so on. And basically what it does is a low level Monster Reborn, and it really helped. The other Ice Barrier spell that I play is Wins Over the Ice Barrier. I only play one because it's searchable. Actually, if you brick, then you can tribute your bricks and then special summon the Ice Barrier low level monsters you need from your deck. And I did it once during the tournament, and it won me the game. I actually could resolve this, because it lets me special summon the monster that I needed the most in that kind of situation. And for the next turn, not the turn that this card was sent to the graveyard, you can actually banish this from your grave and add back one of your Ice Barrier monsters that is banished or in your graveyard. And that's really well for recovery. And yeah, it's a fantastic card that I wanted to test, and it's very good. Then I played one Called by the Grave for hand traps, one Harpy's Feeder Duster against back rows. Then I mentioned that I play a little bit of board breakers. I played double Talents. 3 was too much and I don't really have the space, because I wanted to play Winds and Called by the Grave. 2 was actually totally fine. Every time I resolved this card, I actually won the game. I only use the effect to take control 2 times of a monster, a synchro monster against Whitewoods, and the Mirror Jade against Branded, and it really helps me. And then for last spell I played Triple Droplets. Insane card, helped me a lot against Yugioh, and generally it's a kind of destruction if you get hit by Dark Ruler no more or some cards like that. Then for the last hand trap I played Infinity Impermanence, because Impermanence is good for not triggering tactic talents from your opponent. And for the last spot I played one Floodgate. I played Gozen Match because everything we play in this deck is water. I never actually activated this card. Every time by side decking I sided this out, and yeah, but in theory it's pretty good. Then for our extra deck, these are the tokens for the Mirror Mage. For the extra deck, here comes the fun part, literally. Of course, Gangne, Big Dragon of the Ice Barrier, because, well, it's our channel name, it's my favorite Ice Barrier monster, and actually this is the reason why I played this deck, because of Gangne. Yeah, I really like the Ice Dragons from the archetype, and yeah, Gangne is my most favorite. I first played him back in the day with Mermaids, and I really loved him. And yeah, I want to play him, and I will still play him. So one Gangne, never summoned, but I actually had once a chance when I bricked and had to tear apart the opponent's board. One Bryoneck. Then I played one Devlon, and he actually came up because I summoned a Devlon once and I bounced back my Freezing Chain to reuse it. Pretty good for also running over stuff and recycling your stuff. I play one White Hour Whale to actually get rid of stuff. Never summoned it. One Dragite for spell and trap negation. I guess I summoned him once against stun. One Coral Dragon for the combo with Ravenous Crocodile Dragon Arch Terrace. Every time I play this deck, I resolve this combo once. So practically every game, if I go first, I resolve this combo. Even when I go second, sometimes, but it depends on the board. It's insane. So basically what your combo does is that you draw 3 cards with the Croco and 1 with Coral, so you get actually 4 cards in your hand, and you have always, this one is chaining 1, this is chaining 2, so 3 draws are pretty much guaranteed, regardless. Or yeah, it depends. If your opponent has Impermanence or Effect Raider, then you usually don't draw, but it never happened this tournament because they always waste their hand traps before you actually go into this play. They have to, because you just go insane. Speaking of insane, I played one Ice Jade Ymir Aragine, which was actually insane, because I banished so much stuff with this card. Your opponent activates something, you activate its effect, make your cards indestructible and they cannot be banished. And yeah, and if you activated it in a chain, then you can actually banish one card your opponent controls in their grave, and that's pretty cool. I played one Shenying that won me the game against Whitewood's Runic. I guess he was over 7,000 points or something like that, and won over Chaos Angel in timeout for ultimate damage. Then of course I play double Trishula and double Zero Trishula. Zero Trishula is a beast, a real beast. I won so many matches because of this, because of the boss monster of the deck of Lancea. So these two together are insane. Normally if you go with your 2-card combos, then you always have the Coco Dagon with 4 draws and 1 Lancea. because these are the in-to-go synchros. I guess I made this hard around 3 or 4 times during the tournament. Really insane. It's really cool stuff to banish 3 cards from your opponent. And it really feels good that this deck is finally playable. It's a really good deck. And then, yeah, for once, for the side deck, I played Medium of the Ice Barrier. In theory, this is good against Labyrinth and against stun decks, runic decks, because what it actually says is that your opponent can only play 1 spell and trap per turn, and yeah, it hinders their underplays. Then I played Triple Dogwood for timeout and combo decks, but I never sided this in. Double Lightning Storm, Cosmo Cyclone against stun, runic, what else? Triple Dimension Barrier, which was very helpful against Branded, but otherwise I never sided this in. And evenly matched was insane. I guess I resolved this card 2 times at the tournament, and yeah, it really won me the games where I resolved this card. But I really got this card very often at the tournament. I guess my opponents even lead me 3 or 4 times, and yeah. But I could still win even after I got evenly matched. So yeah, this is my Ice Barrier deck profile. You are free to like and subscribe to this channel, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and yeah. Tell me your opinions about my Ice Barrier deck, or to Ice Barriers in general. Tell me what your favorite Ice Barrier monster card is, or card is, and yeah, then I would say this is it. See you guys later, and then I would say, nicht vergessen.
Glaube an das Herz der Karten.
So sieht es aus. Also, bis zum nächsten Mal, wenn es wieder heißt...
Zeit für ein Duell.